Alright traders, Damien here. I'm going to make this little video of a post-mortem of my trading session today. I think it's important to always go back and revisit your trading day, especially when it wasn't what you expected it to be, whether it was a losing day or a break-even day. Just kind of go over everything again to make sure you didn't make any mistakes or if there was anything that could have been done better. So turning our attention back to the chart here, and a question that was asked, I'm going to bring that in. Says, Mr. Pip, when you have time, I'd like to know your rationale for going long on your first trade given the price had made a new structural low followed by a lower high in an area of resistance. Your long was also in front of a descending trend line on your time frame. See my earlier post for a screen capture. Okay, so I'm not going to go back to the earlier post in the screen capture. I don't really use trend lines. I believe they're very retail, although sometimes they do hold some value in seeing if prices are respecting some sort of trend. It's not a part of my trading, so I don't do that. I haven't done that for many years. I don't feel the need to go back to that, so don't take offense to it. I just don't do that. So coming back here to the screen, this is my live account here. Let me take this to collapse that so it's out of the way. We have price. When I came to my trading session here, price was somewhere in this general area when I was typing with you guys. And one of the things that I saw is, I know you're talking about this and you're looking at this as a correction and this as a new structural low. Not sure that that is a correction. That's one of those things that to some people may be a correction, to some people is not. You can say, well, there was a small correction here, then another new structure high, higher low, and a new structure high. From a clear low to clear high perspective, this is my clear high. This is an obvious attempt to correct, as price made numerous attempts to get bearish again. Even though it didn't succeed, this is something more clearly defined as an area that corrected or attempted to correct, where this is just, it could be just short-term selling interest that never went anywhere. So I might have misread the situation today. Not exactly sure that was the case. I'm going to go through the price action. I'm going to go through what I was looking at that helped me get long and ultimately failed. Overall, I was not looking at this as a correction, more of an area of where the sellers tried to come in and they did not capitalize on that invitation to sell, like here also. So I saw this as the clear low, as the clear high. I saw a major projection to the upside, decent price acceleration. Every time that the bears try to come in, they were rejected and price continued going forward. So this was the real correction that we had here. And price came back into this area here and then found support off of this minor structure area. Okay, and then price came back up and made a lower high. At this point, my expectation from here to here, which I wasn't expecting price to come back this far. However, I did see price acceleration, volume acceleration from a bar by bar perspective. Price came into this general area. Whether there was long-term structure or not to find support here, doesn't matter. I don't really care about that too much. I care about the more immediate, since that's what I trade. And price came back up here. We have good volume and momentum in the bulls coming back up. Now price came back up here and found a little bit of resistance at a lower high. So at this point, I'm thinking complex correction back to the downside. So at this point, I am looking and assessing the momentum on this push back down. And what am I seeing? And as we look here, we see that we have very strong momentum and we have price correct very deep into this. So had there been more selling interest, or if this would have meant something more to me if price would have corrected here and pushed on to test 100% of this. Instead, price came back up pretty high into this area, closed above the 78.6 of this. So I felt that we were still bullish. I see good volume in these candles. I see good momentum on the bulls, somewhat the same momentum as we see here from a pitch standpoint. And then we see that the bears came in with some of that aggression that they had here, some of that strength, but really didn't get very far. At this point, I drew this area, this, and this, and I see this, and I see some support in this area. So I identified this area as an area of possible support back into the long-term expectation of the new structure high. So my importance here is to see how price reacts to this area. So overall, I see price acceleration here. I see the bulls come in with some pretty good volume, although they didn't get very far. And then I see that the bears come in. Excuse me. I see that the bears came in again with some of that strength, but they were not able to get very far. Made a very weak new structure low in an area where they made a very weak pullback, mid-range pullback. They should have been able to get further into this area. They didn't. The first level of structure in this area got respected, and although we see a little bit of weakness coming back up, okay, was a little bit of a source of concern for me, but then I see some of that strong value come in and make even less progress before we get a great rotation. This candle happened very quickly, very strongly to the upside and closed. I felt that this was a good area to get into this, as it wasn't an area of structure. There was a complex correction here with a lot less momentum. Look at the momentum from the bears. A lot less momentum into this area. I felt that this was a decent trading opportunity. At this point, I was expecting at the very least a retest of this high, if not a new structure high, because that was the expectation. So I could have misread it, but I saw the weakness. I saw the bears trying to push down, not really being able to make much ground, and the overall global long expectation of such a strong projection to the upside and with very good momentum. I felt pretty confident that price was going to, at the very least, test this area and give me an opportunity to protect my trade and get me to a break-even trade. So moving the trade forward, this candle was unexpected, and I did not want to see it. But at this point, I was not concerned yet, and I didn't really get concerned until this candle right here, when I saw this push try to get back higher and completely rejected, and this candle closed completely on the bearish side. So I knew I had to have my stop below this low and below this area here, which put me at a 40-point situation. It is what it is, but I have to put my stop where I know my analysis is wrong. At this point, I did not feel like, if I was right, that price should close below this area. So I needed to give this trade that much room and that much opportunity to get back up there and give me that risk-free position. So once I saw this, that's when I believe that's when I put in the thread that it looks pretty bad. It looks ugly, and I'm probably going to get stopped out. So at this point, I got stopped out here. No, I got stopped out here on this candle for a 40-point hit. At this point, price continued going down, and now started correcting here, and my expectation now was clear as price made a new structure low on stronger momentum. So my expectation was for price to have some sort of a generalized weak pullback into this area as the projection from here to here increase, and from here to here. So we obviously got a lot stronger with the momentum projection and in the order flow, and we're expecting a shallow depth. And looking back into this area of structure, this is where I was looking to see a reactionary point from the bears to get back in this. So from a bar by bar perspective, I see that the bears are still engaged in wanting to take price lower, and now we have our correction. So this was a very inviting candle for me. However, I did not take this candle because I did not have enough information. I was looking for price to at the very least get back to the 382, and it just touched it. So I needed more information. I see that there were still buyers here, and now I see a better, more decent rotation candle. So what I'm looking for is to get in at the at another confirmation, which I did here, the next candle. As soon as the candle opened, I saw it had zero interest in trading higher. So I got in at the next candle here. This candle right here is where I got in, and my expectation was for price to continue going lower. Now this was a trade that I was not tremendously excited to take, as my risk was pretty big, but I was confident that with this much momentum and projection from here, that we should get a equal distance move to the downside at the very least, have a very good opportunity to not only remove risk but lock in profit. So the trade never went against me at all. Immediately went in favor and progressed very quickly, very nicely. Okay, and we see that we had our first attempt to correct here. That's where I moved to break even. Well, I went to break even at this structure area. No, actually I did not go. I removed my risk somewhat in this area. I don't remember exactly how I managed to trade per se, but once I get a test of structure, if I am in a position where I can remove risk, I do it. If not, I reduce risk to just above the swing high in case price finds support here and comes up with strength and aggression, that I do not lose much, or at the very least get out with the very best with a break-even trade. So now the price progressed in favor. I'm looking for price to break this low again, and it does, and then I lock in some more profit, and we'll cover trade management and how I trail my stop when we get to that part. I don't want to get too much into it right now because I want to keep this video very short. Okay, and this area completed a 161 extension somewhere down here, and price started becoming more aggressive, and that's where I got taken out when I locked in to above the 382 of this swing. One of the things that I tried to do is I had drew a fib of this swing, and I kept my my stop above the 382, as if that was the case, then I wanted to get out of that trade on a hint of a deeper correction. So price went ahead and continued tried to continue in favor. Didn't really make a whole lot of progress, and then came back up, and then price just rallied. So I ended up taking almost all of this move here. So I was very pleased with the outcome of this trade, and it erased my loss for the day. It gave me about 3 points. Wasn't really much. It was 225 gross, and then by the time commissions and stuff get factored in, I only made about $105 on 15 contracts. So it puts gas in the car, but it doesn't really make a whole oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. So that's basically it. Moving price forward, price came back to this area here. I then readjusted this to include this, this, and this. I felt price should find resistance here, but at this point, price, this was the area where we could have gone in on rotation. However, it would have been a little unexpected for me to see price come all the way down here and make a new structural low when price corrected almost 100% of this all swing. And technically, price had a lower high here and a new structural low, a very weak new structural low. So technically, once price broke above this, the trend had changed technically. But I do like to use the main lows and highs. Okay, so this is the main low and the main high, or clear low, clear high. So the fact that price came back up here with almost 100% told me that price should get down into this general area right here and try to find some support. Price ended up not really doing that. At this point, we've made a very weak new structural low, which could be the expectation, as price did not make a new structural high from the clear high to clear low. Made almost a 100% correction at the very least. I guess the expectation was for price to test these lows. That was not my expectation, as price made again another strong projection on this order flow. So I was expecting price to come back to this area, somewhere in this general area. That did not happen, and price continue on lower. So one of the things that it's important for me to figure out is, how does price react to this area again? So moving price forward, we see that there was decent volume here, so we could expect, as here price should have made a new structural low and did not, made a short-term new structural high. So in the short-term order flow, we're definitely positioning ourselves on some complex price action back to the upside. And although price achieved this new structural low, I still felt that because of this in this general area, and the bulls are definitely trying to stop the bears, that we're going to get price action to move back to the upside. And price does that, and then we have rotation again to the downside. And here, so again, we have a situation where we corrected very deeply into this in an area where the bears were completely dominating. So I understand the price is still dropping lower and wanting to get lower, but I think that long term, we're not going to see price come down too far. One of the things that you want to look at is, what are your expectations from a one-to-one, and project those forward. We have this situation, we have this situation. So it's important to take these expectations, project them forward, see what price ends up doing. Okay, price gets back here, makes a new structural low. What would be your expectation on this weak pullback? For very strong new structural low, you would expect the same thing to happen here. Price does not do that, starts correcting deeper, and we're here live. So again, my expectations, although prices continue to drop, continue to make lower highs and new structural low, we are seeing more and more buying interest, buyers being able to put a bigger dent, slow down the bears. So I don't think long term this market is going to drop a lot further, but it is a bear market for the day anyway, with price breakdown. And that's all I have for this little short video. More importantly, I wanted you guys to see my post-mortem here. These were the trades. So did I make a mistake here? Did I misread the information? It's a little hard to say. I think it could have been read either way. I like to use clear lows and clear highs from my structure analysis, as it gives me a better understanding and expectation, because it doesn't leave room to interpret this one way or the other. It either is a clear low or a clear high, or it isn't. In this case, it isn't, so I disregard it. And this was an expectation failure, okay? As price was looking to make a complex correction and did. There was a lot of weakness here. The bulls should have capitalized on this. They didn't. I stand by my trade still. I don't believe I made a mistake. It wasn't an easy read. It wasn't a clear read, and I was accountable to that. Didn't mean anything to me, as you can see. It was a loss. Next trade should realign yourself with the order flow and expectation. That's why when price broke low here, made a new structure low, that's the market speaking to me, telling me that I need to now wait for the correction into an area of structure, wait for that rotation, which we got in here, and then take action. Okay, that's all I have. Hope this video had value, and that's about it. Thank you. Take care.